Yeah, what did the Australian chess player say to the waiter? He said, checkmate. You know, Shaquille O'Neal's like the happiest man on earth, right? Thank you. Yeah, you know, he's so jolly and stuff. I think because no one's ever messed with him. You know, like, how can you bully someone who's so tall that his crotch is in your face, right? It's like, hey, Shaq, give me your lunch money. Never mind. Yeah, I was seeing these billboards all over Hollywood about this blind guy who climbed Mount Everest. But then I was thinking, how do you know he's on top of Everest, you know? I mean, for all he knows, he could have been like right over there on top of Mount Whitney, you know? I was thinking that's actually a pretty good business idea. Taking blind mountain climbers up to the top of Mount Everest. Yeah, a couple weeks back, North Korea sent over 200 balloons over to South Korea. They were loaded with like garbage and excrement. But that's not exactly a, accurate statement, because they weren't filled with shitty trash. No, they were packed with Dane Cook's jokes. And in retaliation, South Korea set up these loudspeakers, right? And they're like blasting like anti-communist propaganda and like K-pop, right? And in retaliation for that, North Korea set up their own loudspeakers. But North Korea, they don't have bands like BTS and stuff like that, So they just blast like the most annoying sounds they can think of. Yeah, you guessed it. Matt Rice's comedy special. Hey, there's a new disorder going around called Usher syndrome. Yeah, it makes you go blind and deaf. It's pretty serious, right? I always thought when you got Usher syndrome, it just made you go, yeah! Yeah, other day I was eating pizza, It's kind of depressing eating pizza by yourself, right? And it's like eating cake or getting drunk by yourself. Basically like my last birthday. Yeah, I've had sex with like, white women, black women, Asian, Mexican. In my opinion, Asian women give the best blowjobs. Yeah. Any of you ladies like to prove me wrong, meet me in the bathroom in the back later. Yeah, I have a little dog. She's a little Chihuahua dog. She's so cute, She's so cute that when other dogs see her, they go, oh my gosh, that dog is so cute. And then they go, oh my gosh, I can talk. Yeah, I was driving around the other day and I got pulled over by a horse cop. Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't even know he was behind me, and I just hear this woo, woo. It wasn't a siren making that sound either, it was a horse. Yeah, I was the United States Army, 1st Cavalry Division, Fort Hood. Yeah, it's pretty cool, It was weird being the only Asian person, though. Yeah, every day people were just looking at me like, are we supposed to shoot this guy? Yeah, well, I got a buddy, he's Muslim, right? So he doesn't eat pork, But he's always trying to pork shame me and stuff. He's always like, oh, gross, you eat bacon and sausage? I'm like, man, I'm Korean, right? We eat dog, right? Yeah, scientists reported earlier this year, for the first time, 2 male humpback whales having sex. Yeah. Hollywood's already going to make a movie about it. Yeah, they're going to call it Humpback Mountain. Yeah, it's weird how language changes over time, right? Like nowadays, if a guy came up to me and told me he was going to blow my brains out, I wouldn't know whether to run away or pull my pants down. Hey, the NFL has one Asian player, and he's a kicker. Could you not find a more racist position for this guy? What, he's going to go out barefoot in a karate uniform? Yeah, I was watching a show the other day, this Bigfoot show, and it struck me as how dedicated these Bigfoot hunters were. And, they're so devoted to something that might not even be real. Like comedians in their careers. Alright, let me tell you a story. Or, okay, no, yeah, I'll tell you a story. The day when I saw real-life cowboys, right? If you've never seen real-life cowboys, they're pretty impressive, Yeah, like I was driving cross country, and then I was driving through Nebraska, right? And then I got off the freeway, because I wanted to look around. And right when I did that, I was like, oh man, this is a huge mistake. Because right in front of me was like 50 cows, right? Just like a huge wall of cows coming at me. So I stopped my car, I'm like, oh, now what am I supposed to do, And I'm like, maybe I should back up or something. But then right then they start parting, And then I could see why, right? Because these 2 guys are riding up on horses, And they're like, yeah, 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 right? And so because of that, they're parting, They're doing that for me, right? So I drive past them, and I'm looking up at them. I'm like, man, these guys are freaking pretty impressive, right? They're both like 6'3", like maybe 240 pounds, The older one's maybe like 35, the younger one's maybe 25, right? And they both have like cowboy hats and jean jackets and pistols and shit, Like, I was in the Army, right? So I seen some tough people. But these motherfuckers like tough as nails, you know. And I was just looking at them like, damn, look at these guys, man. It's fucking impressive. And then I jerked off and went on my way. I'll tell you another story. The day I met The Rock, right? You know, I was in Hollywood getting my DMV, or at the DMV, right, getting my license renewed with my buddy, right? We're waiting in line, and he's like, hey, you see that guy over there? And there's some guy, like, in the middle, like, talking to one of the supervisors. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I think that's The Rock, right? And I look at him, and I'm like, no, I don't think so, right? Because he looked kind of slim. But then he smiles, right? And I'm like, you know what? Maybe, you know? And I look around the room, and everyone's just kind of looking at him, right, and pointing at him. And then you feel this, like, excitement, like, building in the room, right? It's, like, literally every second, it's, like, building. And at one point, this girl screams, it's The Rock, right? And everyone's like, oh, shit. Anyway, I go to get my picture taken, right? And he cuts the line, right? He cuts right in front of me, you know? So he's standing there, like, right there, just looking at me, you know? And I could have asked for his autograph or handshake or anything. But I was so starstruck, you know? I couldn't do anything. All I could do was just stare at him and go. And so he's just looking at me like, whatever. And he went and turned, he got his picture taken. And then after a bunch of people were coming up to him, you know, getting autographs and stuff. And I was watching him, you know, I was like, man, he's so cool, you know? You could just tell that he was just so happy that people were being nice to him, you know? I was like, man, if I ever see The Rock ever again, I'm gonna go right up to him. Because it's The Rock, I can't help myself. I'll tell you a couple more jokes. Yeah, this past, Oscars, I was watching it. Towards the end, I was getting excited, you know? I was like, hey, look, they're bringing back the Mummy. But then I was like, oh no, that's just Al Pacino. And I was talking to this guy the other day. He told me he was Persian. I was like, you're Persian? From Persia? And he was like, yeah, where are you from? I was like, the Han Dynasty, I guess. Yeah, you know, this past April 4th is a new national holiday. It's a now National Burrito Day. It's pretty cool, right? And then the very next day, April 5th, is now National Toilet Clogging Day. Alright, I'll end with this last joke. You know, comedians will always tell you two things, right? They'll always tell you when they just get booked on a show, and they'll always tell you when they just had sex. That's a bit juvenile, right? Like myself, I haven't been booked on a show in over a month. But I did get late last week, so my name D1, I'm out of here. Thank you.